the fundamental division at the heart of this meritocratic vision, and it's the vision that we have largely adopted as our social model in the wake of the social upheavals of the 1960s, is this division between equal opportunity and equal outcomes. We've decided that we are not going to have an elite that is closed off to people because of race or creed or national origin or gender or sexual orientation or geography. We're not going to have a northern white WASP establishment and an old boys club. People from all walks of life and all different backgrounds will compete on the level playing field, which is the metaphor we always invoke, which, funnily enough, was invented by a bank lobbyist in the 1970s to fight against bank regulation. Fun fact, level playing field. That we're going to compete on this level playing field, and this process of competition is going to produce this set of people that get winnowed down in a kind of tournament-like fashion, to the group of people that will be elites, that will have high levels of professional success, remuneration, political power, influence, etc. And Barack Obama is the crowning achievement of that system. And it is a great testament to that social model that he is in fact President of the United States, because it is only under that social model that in the history of the Republic that a man with that name and skin color, coming from where he came from, could be President of the United States. And it's a credit to meritocracy that that's the case. And yet at the same time we have adopted this model, we have seen massively increasing inequality, and more importantly, but I think less covered, declining social mobility. The odds of beginning in the bottom of the income distribution and getting to the top over the course of a lifetime or across generations, the odds of that are growing longer. We're seeing less social mobility, which is in fact the foundational promise of the meritocracy. The idea of rising from any station to as far as your talents and drive will get you, that is an old, old, old American dream. De Tocqueville writes about it. And yet, the meritocracy is not delivering on this foundational promise, or increasingly failing to. And to me, the story of Hunter is a kind of perfect parable about how this happens. Because Hunter can narrowly hew to its austere vision of equality of opportunity, of this single test that everybody waits online and goes through the door through, and everyone takes the same test. But clinging to that vision of equality of opportunity proves to be a very flimsy barrier indeed against the incursions of absolute, actual inequality of outcomes that persist in the city at large. The test prep industry being just one emanation, one particularly acute emanation of that. I think that we have a society, a social model, that is breaking down before our eyes. A method of elite selection that is growing increasingly sclerotic and rigged and corrupt. And I think that this model of meritocracy, which essentially is a social consensus, it's not something that you ever really hear argued about or questioned. It's more or less what Democrats and Republicans talk about, is sowing the seeds of its own destruction and producing a set of elites who cannot but help fail.